Hey, what's going on, guys? So I've been seeing a bunch of people running into some pretty annoying problems in Subnautica 2. And the thing that stands out right away is that these issues are not all the same kind of problem. Some players are getting disconnected from sessions, some are finding that multiplayer just refuses to cooperate, some are running into an error on startup, and then there are a couple of weird bugs like the cannot deconstruct issue and that Wu Wu Lianghai bug that sounds like it came out of nowhere. The important part is that this is not just one random glitch with one simple cause. It looks more like a cluster of known problems that can show up in different parts of the game, which is exactly why people keep getting mixed results when they try to fix it. And that actually explains why the advice around it is so basic at first glance, because the page is basically pointing people toward the usual first steps before anything else. One of the quick fixes is just restarting the game, which sounds almost too simple, but for session problems and multiplayer hiccups, that can be enough to clear whatever is stuck in the connection or the game state. Another common fix is updating your game drivers, because if the game is throwing startup trouble or acting unstable, outdated drivers can make the whole thing worse. There's also the internet side of it, since restarting your connection is one of the listed fixes too, which makes sense if the issue is tied to joining or staying in a session. And then there is the advice to check official notices for bugs and fixes, which is basically the game's way of saying, look, if this is a known problem, there may already be a proper fix or a patch note explaining what is going on. The startup side is especially frustrating because once a game fails before it even gets going, everything else feels broken, even if the actual cause is pretty narrow. The source points out that similar issues can stop the game from starting, and in a lot of cases, the cause is corrupted game files. That part matters because it means the problem is not always the whole game being bad, but sometimes just one damaged piece in the install is enough to make the launch process fall apart. So when people see an error on startup, it is not always a sign that the game is beyond saving. It can be something as plain as the files not being in the state the game expects, or the system not lining up cleanly with the current build. That is why these kinds of bugs feel so random to players. One person loads in fine, another gets blocked instantly, and both are looking at the same game. Then, there are the more specific gameplay bugs, and those are the ones that can really mess with the mood because they hit you right in the middle of playing instead of stopping you before you even start. The cannot deconstruct bug is one of those problems that can get on your nerves fast, especially if you're trying to clean up your base or rearrange something and the game just refuses to let you do it. That kind of issue is extra annoying because it gets in the way of normal building and survival flow, which is a big part of what makes Subnautica feel satisfying in the first place. The page also lists the Wu Lianghai bug, which tells you the bug tracker is not only covering the obvious connection and startup stuff, but also those strange named issues that pop up and leave people wondering whether they missed some hidden rule. So the overall picture here is pretty clear. The known issues in Subnautica 2 are spread across connection trouble, startup failures, and in-game interaction bugs. And the currently listed fixes are still in that practical first response stage where you try the basics before anything else. Restart the game, update the drivers, reset the internet, and keep an eye on official notices because that is where the page is steering people right now.